Hello and welcome to the Guardian Football Weekly. Spain do just enough. Mikel Merino winning it late on. Pau Cubarsí out-muscled for Belgium's equaliser earlier, struck it from 25 yards. Substitute keeper Sani Lammens spilled it, and the camera cut away to the injured Thibaut Courtois. A devastating and uncharacteristic error for the Manchester United keeper. The extra pressure of coming off the bench, the extra pressure of a World Cup quarter-final. Fabian Ruiz had opened the scoring, and it felt like that was that. But out of nothing, the Belgians equalised. Some vintage Kevin De Bruyne in the build-up and a lovely header from De Ketelaere. But Spain-France is a great semi-final to look forward to. And then tomorrow we find out the other one. England-Norway again. Mark Gay's hamstrings, Declan Rice's dodgy stomach. Who will be right back? And have we found Barry's spirit Norwegian? There's the other quarter-final between Switzerland and Argentina. There's bad news for Messi in Egypt. People going great lengths to miss the World Cup. Your questions, and that's today's Guardian Football Weekly. On the panel today, here in New York City, Barry Glendenning, welcome.
Hello.
Hello, John Bruin.
I'm parking here.
And on the night shift, not too bad a night shift for this one, Nicky Bandini, hey.
Positively civilised, only 11 p.m.
Ah, well, that's easy, isn't it? Right, let's start then with the quarter-final today. Spain 2, Belgium 1. Someone called RJB 1998 posted a tweet during the game which said, the cutaway to Courtois when Lammens makes an error leading to a goal here is going to be phenomenal. It's agony for Sani Lammens, isn't it, Barry?
Yeah, it was an unfortunate mistake. I mean, the cutaway is only slightly tempered by the fact that Thibaut Courtois had made a kind of similar error for the first goal.
Similar-ish, I think.
Similar-ish. It wasn't as egregious a mistake, I suppose. He saved that shot from Dani Olmo. I'm going to say it's similar, almost identical.
I don't agree at all.
Anyway, I was thinking Spain won this match by scoring the same goal twice. You clearly disagree.
I just think the Courtois, I think the save from Olmo is a really good save.
Right.
And he could parry it away. I think the mistake from Lammens is you've got to hold that. At this level, Clive, you've got to be holding that. John?
The Courtois mistake, and I will count it as a mistake,
okay.
And I'm sure he would count it as a mistake.
Well,
a man of very high standards. It's from the save is from closer range, but when you go to matches and you watch the warm-up, what's the thing that they're always running through is deflecting the ball away from danger, and he didn't do that. But it wasn't as egregious as the Lammens mistake, which is so unfortunate, because I remember when he went to United last year, he was given the title of the new Courtois, and this was I know, and this is the moment that he's anointed his successor, and it didn't go well. Let's credit Courtois with a good piece of what you in Australia would call mateship, after saying,
he's not renowned for that kind of thing.
No, he's can be a tricky customer at times, but he spoke about how it's not his fault. These things happen, and he's got a great future ahead of him. But I suppose there might have been one left in on Rudy Garcia, living up to Courtois by saying, I would have been happy to stay on, but it was the manager's decision.
Yeah.
So absolving himself a little bit.
Nicky?
Yeah, I agree with John's analysis of the two shots. I think that's spot on for me. And it's just a shame, isn't it? Because Courtois, yes, he signs off with a mistake, but I think has had a reasonable claim in the last couple of years to be the best goalkeeper in the world. I think he's not got many challenges for that, in my opinion. So, of course, if he goes off and the guy who comes on makes a mistake, the narrative is unavoidable. There's no way around it.
Yeah. Paul says, is Courtois the most consequential injury in World Cups, the worst mistake by a substitute? We were Googling this, and I found a Guardian article from a few years ago. Marco Echeverri for Bolivia, playing in their first World Cup since 1950 against Germany and USA 94, was on the bench, even though he was their star player, Echeverri. Came on the 79th minute, 4 minutes, 2 touches later. Lothar Matthäus brought him down, and he sort of gave him a harmless, petulant kick and was sent off, banned for 2 games, missed the rest of the group stages, Bolivia out.
I think the story with that was that Echeverri had been their big star, him and Erwin Platini Sanchez. This is my memory of the World Soccer days. And he'd had a bad injury, and that's why. And it's one of those players that's rushed back, that often happens. And then that happened. And then he was never seen again at a World Cup. He did become a major star of the initial MLS.
That's right.
Yeah. So those of us watching late at night on Channel 5 would have seen a lot of him in Preki, wouldn't we? Golden days. Golden days.
So Jamo says, say something fitting, please, about just how amazing Mikel Merino is. And you kept saying, Barry, he's clutch. America has changed you.
Yeah. I don't like that expression, but he is clearly a clutch player. This is the second time he's done it in this tournament. He's done it countless times throughout his career for Real Sociedad, for Spain, in other tournaments, for Arsenal. And he was the most alert player in the box when Lammens made that boo-boo and punished Belgium for it. He's probably not happy with being a super sub, but he is a super sub, and that appears to be his lot in life at the moment in terms of being a Spanish international. He's done very well in this World Cup because obviously I don't think he played more than a half an hour, if that, for Arsenal since suffering that stress fracture on his foot midway through the season. But I think Spain were worthy winners of this game. The only thing is, now he may not have been on the field at the end because he would have started, but Yuri Tielemans is kind of a clutch player in his own way as well, and Belgium were without him because he had to pull out lastminute.com. I don't think he even did the warm-up, but I'm not sure what happened there, but he is a terrific player who can occasionally score massive goals in big games, and he's a big loss for Belgium going into this game.
Yeah, I'm just on I agree with that completely. He's a brilliant player. On Marino, Nicky, obviously watched a lot of him at Arsenal, or not that much of him at Arsenal, because he has a similar role, I guess. But he has that. Well, he does play up front, sometimes in midfield, sometimes. And what does he have? The Lampardian knack?
I don't know about clutch. I think for lots of us, Mikel Marino is inevitable. That's how it feels for me.
Okay.
Marino will arrive and he will score that goal. On that notion, I mean, there was someone dug into the numbers for the Athletic a little while ago, and he scored 11 Premier League goals for Arsenal. 10 of them have changed the game state. So 10 of them have either been turning a losing position into a drawing position or a drawing position into a winning position. So there really is like data to support this idea that he does it. And of course, he also, for Spain, I know Baz just alluded to it, but I'm thinking about the Euros and the quarterfinals against Germany. They were at the 119th minute when he scores the winner of that game, so they don't go to penalties. It is actually kind of beyond this little meme now. It's a real thing. He keeps scoring these incredibly important goals, and I don't know, maybe Baz is right and he wishes he could start, but I don't know, if your story as a footballer was, I'm just a guy who shows up and delivers Spain to semi-finals and quarter-finals, I don't think I'd be too mad about that. I think that's a pretty good story to have as a footballer.
Yeah, when does it go from meme to reality? It's an interesting moment.
Is he not a reflection of the way the game has changed with 5 substitutes? Like you can have a player that can do that. Mm-hmm. That in baseball they call it a pinch hitter or whatever. And that
like you for this pod, John.
Yeah,
coming in
thank
late,
you very much.
Taking the glory.
Thank you very much. Yes,
Yeah.
But in the days when, say, famous super subs, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is obviously the one that springs most to mind.
I'm amazed you didn't say David Fairclough.
But David Fairclough was the second name, but was the original. But David Fairclough would come in an era where there was one sub. And sometimes he might have had to play left back or something because he was the one sub. It changed a bit with Solskjaer, but Marino is that can come on, and that in that last 20 minutes, 10 minutes, here's a guy that can do that. And also, the opposition know exactly that's what he's going to do. And he has that timing, that knack. Which is it a lost art, Nicky? Do you think that of the player arriving in the box to score these goals?
It's certainly, just to bring it back to Max referencing my Arsenal fandom, it's a heartbreak for me that we didn't throw him on for the last few minutes of the Champions League final. You watch this happen and you think, what was Arteta thinking? Not just going, all right, now you go win the game, Mikel. Yeah, it's a good question, the late arrival into the...
Bellingham has an air of it.
Yeah.
If you think about this World Cup.
I don't think it's a completely lost art, but I think that there are so few players who do it this well. I think McTominay does it great for Napoli, for instance. So I think there are players who do it. I suppose we just had the archetype in English football was Frank Lampard for such a long time, wasn't it? And I suppose we haven't had one in the Premier League who feels quite as era-defining as that for a while.
Jamie says, does anyone actually enjoy watching Spain? They're clearly good at winning games, but Christ, their dedication to anti-entertainment is resolute. Baz? Is that unfair? They created more than Belgium, right? But you imagine they're going to create more than Belgium.
I wouldn't say it's unfair. It's just not a thought that's really occurred to me, which I suppose means
Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy it?
I like watching Spain, yeah. I know people used to get fed up with their ticky-tacky woke nonsense back in the day. But no, I think they're all right.
I guess when you have this image of, they have had times when they've been really, truly exciting and blown teams away. And, the last, to get to the semi-final, the last couple of games at least, haven't been thrilling, I guess.
But when they won the World Cup in 2010, that this was the boring World Cup because they didn't quite do that to Belgium in this game, but that team and this team can do this. They make the opposition suffer, don't they? They squeeze them into and drive them into distraction and then seize their chances.
And there are moments, I guess, Olmo has this wonderful balance about him. Yamal, of course, isn't quite on it.
Well, yeah, I mean, he won the sponsors man of the match because he is the most famous person. Yeah. Though my Irish Spanish friend, I think you know who it was saying he thought he held on to the ball a bit too much.
Right. Which
I think's it's almost like he's young and has to be the hero almost. Like him and Doku, I enjoyed their little. Yeah. It was good. Both of them actually did each other with a bit of skill and maybe a bit of respect there. That was good to watch. That was exciting. I don't think that was the worst game I've seen. It was better than the France game yesterday.
Yeah, Mal kept trying to score that goal he scores where he cuts inside and curls it inside the far post, and I think he had 3 or 4 shots to no great avail. One of them went quite close, and I think he's hitting his stride. I think we might see he could have a big say in the semi-final or the final if Spain get to the final. But no, I'm sort of surprised by that. Are you sure that isn't like an email that's been
for 10 years
stuck in your inbox for 10 years? You only just got around to opening.
It's pretty recent. I feel it's recent anye.
Right, fair enough.
I'm just the messenger here. It's Jamie from Jamie. It's not from my wife.
I'm not criticising the sender. It just sort of, I wasn't expecting anyone to say that.
Yeah. Had an end of era feel about Belgium, Nicky, didn't it? De Bruyne coming off, the Courtois injury. They're not the golden generation anymore. We know that, but now it's really, it's the retired generation, I presume.
Yeah, maybe, and maybe there's actually a new generation coming behind that can do okay. Maybe it's not actually that was their one generation they'll ever get. I mean, Doku's there, De Ketelara's 25. I need to say my bit on De Ketelara. I know you love him already, but I heard Archie say the other day, and Archie, of course, as always, brilliant analysis. I'm not really having a go at Archie, but he did say he thought De Ketelara had arrived at Milan with all this hype and had never quite lived up to it. I think that happened at Milan. I actually think he's been brilliant for Atalanta for the last few seasons. And yes, his numbers this season are a little bit worse, but this season he started with Ivan Juric as his manager because Gasperini left in the summer. So a lot of things didn't go right this season for Atalanta. But the 2 before that, he had 13 goals, 11 assists in 24-25. He had 14 goals, 11 assists the year before that. For a player who, despite what's happening with Belgium this summer, or happened with Belgium this summer, I guess we say now, he is not a number 9. He plays behind the attack. I think his numbers are more than good enough for someone who plays that position on a team that's not one of the top tier teams at Atalanta. So I think he's a brilliant player. I think he's got that header in his arsenal. I don't think people think of him as a header of the ball, but he scores quite a few with his head actually in Serie A. And so maybe the next team is about Doku and De Ketelara, and it's not about De Bruyne and Lukaku anymore. But there's not an absence of talent on that side going forward.
Max and I were discussing earlier how De Ketelara doesn't actually look like a footballer. No. He kind of resembles, I don't know, if you're watching an episode of Law and Order.
Yeah,
and he's the preppy student who ends up being guilty of some heinous crime. His frat club or his frat society tried to cover it up, but it turns out.
I feel like on Monday, say we're on the metro, we'll see him heading to Wall Street or something like that.
I had him more, just a cutaway of generic children from Eton. Like he's got that hair about sort of
it's one of Prince Harry's mob, one of his mates.
I can see that.
I was just going to pick up Belgium and Holland, or the Netherlands as we should call them. There is this idea, I think, within football that the talent factor was always the Netherlands, and now it's Belgium. I mean, there is a lot of players coming out of that. Tony Bloom, of course, is the god of all analytics and scouting. a lot of players come through Belgium. De Kuyper being one of them.
Sure,
you know.
De Kuyper's had a good tournament. I
Yes,
suppose
he has,
Onana, that's a miss as well. Missing Onana and Tielemans is really big for them.
Big, yeah. It's a midfield
isn't it?
gone.
Yeah. Here's some. This is from my Belgian friend Quentin Mathieu. So
I didn't know you had a Belgian friend, Max. I thought I knew everything about you.
Oh no, I keep my secrets. I keep my cards close to my chest. So here's his analysis, Barry, and you can eviscerate this because Quentin doesn't pass the ball enough on a football pitch, despite being quite good at it. We were waiting for them to give us the ball or what. I hate when teams play like that, just defending. That's not when we play our best football. I sometimes wonder why managers get paid so much to say, let's defend and see. It's a quarter-final FFS, just play football.
I think Quentin's been harsh on Belgium there. They certainly weren't as meek and passive as Morocco yesterday, that's for sure. I thought they sort of spent the first 20 minutes going, right, we'll sit back, see what these guys have to throw at us. And then Spain were definitely dominating the opening, say, before the first break, but Belgium, I thought, started landing a few counter punches of their own. Doku made a few good runs, taking on defenders, midfielders, beating them. He was ending up running down blind alleys, but he was doing something, trying to do something.
And actually, there was that moment at 1-1, I think shortly after they equalised, when I think De Ketelaere can put Doku through.
Yeah.
It's a break from a corner. And I think he doesn't quite get the pass right, or someone intercepts it. And that could have been very different. And I guess by the 75th minute, they're thinking about extra time and penalties. And actually, John, I thought they defended, until that mistake, they defended pretty brilliantly.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I suppose the question is, how potent are Spain in attack? And I think that's the big question that are going to be asked by France, isn't it? Because with all that possession that they have, and it's not quite at the level of the previous teams we've talked about, because they tend to be, they can be a little bit wasteful. It's taking those chances, and I suppose the question is, do they have as good a strike force as France?
Well, no.
No, we'll answer. I think we can answer that fairly honestly. So that's the issue, isn't it? And they've defend well enough.
They've conceded one goal this tournament. I guess the question is, Nicky, we look ahead to that Spain-France game. Is Spain's midfield better than the France midfield? So if they can dominate that, then they can at least reduce the number of chances that the France attackers make.
I really don't want to pile on to your Belgian friend.
Please,
but I don't think it's
hammer
that
him.
simple as taking the ball off Rodri. Rodri's really, really stinking good. He's having a brilliant tournament. We haven't mentioned him yet, but I felt like if I, at any second of that game, looked away and then looked back to the screen, there was like a 90% chance that Rodri would have the ball when I look back again, because he just always seemed to have the ball, and he's one of the best players in the world. So I think it's a bit mean on Belgium, I think, to say, why didn't you just take the ball off that brilliant midfielder they have? And I think that it'll be really fascinating to see what the dynamic of that game against France was, because this game, for the first part of it especially, but really for a lot of it, the way that Spain stop you from hurting them is just by making the entire game get played in your half. The ball's just constantly in Belgium's half, and the only way they're going to break out of that is when they've got, lucky for them, players like Doku who can run. Now, France have a ton of runners. France are probably the best equipped in the world in terms of number of players who can stretch the pitch like that and play on the fast break. So holding the ball in their half is not necessarily this great, opponent cancelling move that it might be against someone else. But at the same time, I don't think France want to just sit in their own half and let Spain have the ball. So I do think that's a really interesting dynamic, and I don't have the answer of how it's going to play out, but I'm certainly curious to watch it.
Yeah, yes, Barry.
It's probably worth mentioning as well, a lot of people seem to be outraged that when the score was still 1-1, that Belgium didn't get a penalty for the Rodri handball. But to clear that up, I believe, I'm told, and I now know, I didn't at the time, that if your teammate heads the ball against your hand, then it can't be a penalty.
And also,
IFAB change of rule, wasn't it? Yeah. So, yeah.
And also, there was that moment just after Marino scored that Simon came out, and he looked a bit dodgy today, but he came out, and the ball went in the box, and a Spanish defender kicked it. It was a pass forward, not a pass back, and he calls it because you can catch it if you pass it forwards. And so that is a loophole that very defensive teams could
I think they got away with that because it was inadvertent as
Right,
well.
it was a clearance,
I mean,
was it?
we watched it with Jonathan Wilson, and even Jonathan had not
There
seen
we
this
are.
before, was confused by this moment
course.
and running through his internal rule book, which I don't really want to think about actually. But how many moments has this World Cup thrown up? And that was a special one, wasn't it?
Well, another special one, finally, before we move on, was Michael Oliver's excellent block on Danny Olmo. Julian on our subreddit said, have you noticed the referees being hit by the ball or players more frequently in this World Cup than normal? Feels like nearly every game the referee is physically disrupting play, particularly in the attacking third. Have they been instructed to stand in a more advanced position or closer to particular passages of play?
Do you know who was very bad for this as a referee? Howard Webb.
Is that right?
The ball always came off him. Yeah.
Producer Chelsea, is it for ref cam? Are they trying to get the best shot? Just one more time. Could you do that again, please, Lameen? I want to get a better shot of it. But had Michael Oliver been thinking, he would have booked himself in a comedy way. That would have been, that would have got the lols in, wouldn't it? Anyway, that'll do for part one. Live shows on the 1st of September, Vicar Street in Dublin, 9th of September, Soho Theatre, Walthamstow. Please come along. Tickets are selling well, so book now to avoid moderate disappointment. Guardian.co.uk/Football Weekly Live. You can also buy tickets to the live stream. I think we're doing the London show live stream and the New York gig as well, which is next Thursday. I'm looking, yes, nodding from producer Joel. Thank you, Joel. And that'll do for part one. Part two, we'll look ahead to tomorrow's games. Welcome to part two of the Guardian Football Weekly. So Norway, England tomorrow. Where are you, Barry, on the fearometer?
Oh, high.
Yeah.
8.5.
Okay.
Yeah. I think, high.
You've predicted England to win every game so far. I presume that you're trying to curse
Absolutely.
them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 4-0 win tomorrow. No bother.
What's the mood in England, Nikki?
I think optimistic. It is funny. Like I don't know if it's just where I live. Obviously, I live in Brighton. That's known. But you feel it's going on, but I don't feel like there's this sense of fervour like I might have expected. I don't know how you feel about that, John, from before you came out. I don't feel like for how realistic the chance is that England can win this tournament, and they really are in a position now where they should be believing in themselves, whether or not we think they're going to beat Norway. They have certainly shown enough to carry that belief. I don't feel like the country is yet I don't know in
jingoistic insanity. What is it?
Are white vans driving around with
George's crosses?
George's crosses.
I don't know if it's also just because it's really, really hot. And so everyone just doesn't have the energy to do anything other than just lie around complaining about how hot it is.
I mean, we're laughing, but extreme heat does sap your enthusiasm for anything.
No, I agree, yeah.
I agree with Nicky. Back in England, it felt like, and I think it's maybe a time zone thing. Particularly, I mean, those of us who watched the Mexico game in bed, alone, I should say.
I don't think you needed to qualify that.
Those are glass houses, Barry.
Takes one to know one, Baz. But anyway, it feels like winning the World Cup or going far in the World Cup is one of those things that's sort of nice to have for the English rather than an expectation. That's the idea, and also the St George's flags. Well, they've taken a bit of a downturn in image in recent times because of certain.
Yeah, give it bin face to the end of the season.
Well, you give it bin face is representing the best of England at the moment, isn't he?
I think so.
Bin face and Harry Kane. That's what we're after.
Yeah. So Mark Gay is going to be assessed on Friday to see if he's fit. He's got a hamstring strain. Quansah obviously out for 2 games, suspended. Reece James is in contention. All 3 of them have trained with the first team today. So. What's your back 4, Nikki?
Oh, God. You just want 4 Dan Burns against Haaland, don't you? That's the answer. Just Dan Burn 4 times. That's a really hard one to answer, isn't it? Because we don't know what Reece James' fitness is like. And I've heard it said, is it worth playing him in this game? If there's a risk it's going to aggravate it and then you lose him for the rest of the tournament. And that's a conundrum on itself because, I mean, there might not be a rest of the tournament. And that right-back position is obviously a pretty big conundrum, especially now with Quansah being suspended as well. I don't know. Don't put me on the spot for all 4 of it.
No, that's okay. You don't.
Would you be concerned at all about how much of a physical and mental toll that Mexico game will have taken out of your brave English boys.
Yeah, I'm a bit I think because there's been long enough since that game.
It has felt like a long time.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, so I agree with you. I did think, wow, that they have left everything out there, and that's hard to go again, or and
it was only 90 minutes though. That's the thing. It wasn't extra time.
It felt like
it felt like.
It was a lot longer.
But those of us lonely in bed,
yeah,
it
of
certainly
course.
felt like.
But there's the heat as well. But I suppose the heat should be the same for both these sides, shouldn't they?
The only thing I'd say is, this is kind of a free hit for Norway, and England are under a lot of pressure to win this game. I think Norway aren't under a lot of pressure. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's the vibe I get.
The thing about this game though is,
I'm desperate. I'm clutching.
No. I don't think you have to be totally clutching because Haaland is Haaland, right?
well, this is it, isn't it? And the way that you observe the way Norway have played in this World Cup is they've been able to be patient in the games, and they were against Brazil, because they know that chance will come to that guy, and he'll score. Now England have the similar thing in Harry Kane. But there's something about the Norwegians. Let's not go into national stereotypes. Okay, let's go into national stereotypes. They're a bit cooler, a bit less.
Yeah.
A bit.
I mean, their keeper had a brilliant game.
Yes, he did. Yeah, and he's had a great tournament. I think he's out of contract. I was reading the other day. Someone should sign him up. But England, we can't help ourselves, can we? Of just getting a little bit too excited, a bit excitable, and the yellow card tightrope and the possible it's just. And I suppose that's the thing that I was going to say, Thomas Tuchel's, one of his jobs is to stop the players being too emotional. But then I look at Thomas Tuchel on the sideline and think, that's probably not one of your better points.
Yeah.
But Thomas Tuchel has been the master of the hydration breaks, even more than David Beckham in this tournament.
It's probably not earned as much as David Beckham.
He's on a few quid, but not got that much. But yeah.
Barry, you want the pedantic Norway fan that I saw on Instagram on the row, on the big row at the end.
Yes.
He's gone viral. So there's a clip of all the Norway fans doing it, and he's sitting there, arms folded, like the pose you take when you're in a grump on the pod. Sit back, arms folded like this.
That's just my resting.
Oh, is that your resting? I do apologise.
It's not my grump.
Oh, I see.
No, if I'm in a grump, you'll know.
Oh, I know. No, don't worry. You don't have to tell me. I'll know. I'll fucking know. But yeah, he won't row, will he? Because he says it's factually wrong, saying the Vikings didn't row over the Atlantic, they sailed. And you admire his pedantry.
I do, yeah. I love a pedant. And everyone knows that when the longboats invaded England in 793 AD, they didn't use oars. They used a Yamaha 14 horsepower outboard motor.
Of course.
With 4-stroke engine. Yeah.
It's common knowledge, isn't
Absolutely. Yeah. I do admire his pedantry. I also admire the fact that so many people are getting really angry about his pedantry. And the fact that he did his interview and on the wall behind him were a pair of oars. So I don't know if he's just done a wind-up. But anyway, yes, anyone who adds to the discourse in an amusing way is always welcome in my book.
Yeah, well done, Norwegian pedant. We're running a survey to learn more about our audience. Apparently hundreds of you have nothing better to do and have already filled it out. So please keep going. TheGuardian.com/FW survey should take somewhere between 2 and 5 minutes. If you're watching, there's a QR code on the screen to make your life even easier. And then you can tell us what you want from us. And I mean, whether the results are ever passed down to us, I don't know. And
I'd imagine if the results are bad, they'll be passed down to us. If everyone who answers the survey says, ticks yes on the should Max and Barry be paid way more money, then that'll be kept secret.
Is that a question we're asking? I don't know if that's even on it. Maybe in the comments, if you could say big pay rises for all involved. Anyway, thanks for getting in touch with that. TheGuardian.com/FW survey. The email address, footballweekly@theguardian.com, if you want to send us some correspondence. And that'll do for part 2. But we'll look ahead to Argentina and Switzerland in part 3. Welcome to part 3 of the Guardian Football Weekly. Argentina, Switzerland after the England-Norway game. What hope do you give Switzerland, Nikki?
Manzambi. It feels like without him, they haven't got that little thing that made them special. This is obviously still groundbreaking result for Switzerland. It's been a great tournament. Without him, it's hard to see where the magic comes from. But they're a solid team without him. But they just are lacking that little bit of inspiration that you feel like you might need to get past Argentina. Although, listen, Argentina showed some pretty significant frailties in that last game, so you never know.
And also, I wonder, whoever's refereeing this game, will they be a bit on a let's book an Argentinian quick?
It's Romero first, Yeah, I mean, the thing is with Switzerland is they have this amazing capability of boring the opponent to death, don't they? And
you weren't going to do national stereotypes, that John.
No, that's just stereotype.
I think that long bolt has sailed.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be a tournament without a dull Swiss knockout game, would it? Mm. And it felt like the World Cup became a true World Cup when that game was played out. Manzawi, who actually I notice his transfers are going through. This is something I find difficult about this World Cup. Like transfers going on while
we're ignoring them.
Yes, well, good
for a big pod where we go, Barry. Did you know this?
Yeah, he's done what? Yeah, he's gone where? Yeah, and yeah, they will miss him as a player. The big question of this game, of course, is Lionel Messi. And what we saw in the Egypt game was suddenly the Kraken wakes and he suddenly just seizes it. And nobody in the game, apart from, say, 2 other or 3 other players, have been able to pull a game into their own hands in the way that he did in that Egypt game. That that run that he makes down to the touchline, that amazing run, and it's like he's 39 and he's still doing what he was doing 16, 17 years ago. But it feels like very much like an American sports story, doesn't it? Like this, can this run continue? Like Linsanity.
Cut to his house, and he cuts to his trailer, and he's putting his elbow, his shoulder back into his socket after every game.
Yeah, the sort of the comeback kid, that type of thing. It's got, and it has that. And Messi is the Hollywood guy, and also because he's so implacable as a character, we don't really know what Messi thinks about anything. Mm-hmm. That's it's all about Messi. We cannot ignore this guy. Neither can Switzerland. They probably won't be ignoring him.
I hope he turns out to be just a real massive bore. It doesn't really.
What's his views on Norwegian rowing?
Yeah.
No, that's it.
Marcelo Mora y Araujo will join us. Great, after the game tomorrow for Legacy Pod fans to talk about the Argentina game. So that'll be great. Our friend of the pod, Kiram Zidane, Egypt fan, said, if you think Egypt's over the soul-crushing loss to Argentina, think again. Egyptian snack manufacturer Chipsy, basically the Walkers of Walker's Crisps.
Does David Beckham do their ads?
Well, they've halted production of all product lines featuring Messi on the cover after Egyptians threatened to boycott the brand. That's some good stuff, isn't it?
Another opportunity there for Becks to steal in then, isn't there? Yeah.
Good do. Mike says it'll be very interesting to see if you mentioned the rioting in London last night by Moroccan fans which injured a policeman. If this was England fans, you wouldn't hesitate. I listen with bated ears, says Mike. Well, you've baited me into this.
That was the first I've heard of it.
Well, there we are. A police officer has been hurt. Several people arrested after disorder in London on Thursday night after France beat Morocco. Police and fans clashed on Edgware roads. The Met Police said 4 people are arrested for violent disorder. 1 officer had to be taken to hospital with a head injury after being hit by a glass bottle. As Philippe mentioned yesterday, actually, the scenes around Paris pretty amazing.
Pretty cordial,
between the French and Moroccan fans. On that, the UK policing unit says that 223 incidents related to the England-Mexico match in the early hours of Monday have been recorded. Said there have been 6 hate crime incidents, 32 incidents of domestic abuse. It made 42 arrests linked to that game, for which pubs are allowed to keep serving till 5 a.m. And I've done loads of work on domestic abuse, and the stats are so depressing. The last study by Lancaster University said that domestic abuse incidents can rise by 38% when England lose and 26% when England win. So, it's just so bleak. Bit of a gear change, but from The Athletic, Cape Verde keeper Voisinho has been recognised by having a newly discovered species named in his honour. A new species of marine mollusk has been named after the 40-year-old by a Spanish researcher called Jesus Ortega. Ortega made the discovery of the new species, a small sea slug of red appearance and about 4 millimetres, that was until his published work unknown by science. And he's named it Aldisa voigina, in English, Voisinia's sea slug. So many congratulations.
I saw some social media footage of him water skiing.
Oh, right.
he's enjoying his summer.
He's having a good time.
He is having a good time.
Yeah. I saw Pico Lopez on RTE with Stephen Kelly and Richie Sadler.
Oh, okay.
And he was great. Yeah, good value. What a time he's had as well.
Yeah.
Ian writes, Hi Football Weekly. I'm currently travelling in a small float plane to a remote family fish camp in Alaska. It's Australia 1, Egypt 1 in the 78th minute. I'm about to lose all cell and internet connection for a week. This email in my outbox will send when I'm back online. I've turned off all possible alerts and plan to only find out results and news by listening to any missed pods in my feed in chronological order. Though whatever fixtures exist will be a bit of a spoiler, I trust you all to give me comprehensive recaps and analysis, negating the need for any other media. Did the plucky Socceroos steal another win? Is Luka Modric still running? Did Haaland and the rampaging Vikings summon past demons to score 7 against Brazil? Are Mbappe's feet, to say nothing of his boots, literally made of gold? Did I consume more vegetables in the past week in a place where the only fresh food comes out of the ocean than Mark Langdon? I know I'll find the answers to these questions and many more soon. Keep up the great work. Many thanks for the many years of entertainment. Peace, love and football to all, Ian.
He's got a plot twist with Matt Ryan coming up, hasn't he?
He does, yeah. He's got many things to discover. Haller says, I'm not looking forward to the World Cup being over for many reasons. A huge one is that I've been using Football Weekly to go to sleep every night. What am I going to do without daily pods and the dulcet tones of Max and Barry? Are you interested in daily pods for the rest of your life to keep this listener happy? Speak from the heart.
Would you be in Australia and I be in Europe?
I would be right next to you, Barry. Every step of the way.
I'm not sure.
Just keeping you on the straight and narrow.
I'm not sure we'd survive. No, I think 3 a week is fine.
Okay, fine. There you are. That's
After a holiday.
Okay, fine.
A purge.
Okay, fine. No, listen. The feeling is
trial separation.
The feeling is entirely mutual.
Not this again.
Not
in front of the children.
Thank you to everyone in Brooklyn that has offered me somewhere to do my radio show. Apparently, it works in their hotel room. So you're
How many offers did you get, just out of interest?
Quite a lot.
Because I said yesterday, I bet someone will come up trumps.
There's loads in Brooklyn. Yeah,
and then you've thrown their kindness back in.
Yeah,
their
I do
face.
apologise, but we'll pop round. So send us your address. Barry will come round with a cake for every single one of you while I'm broadcasting to the nation. But that'll do for today. Thanks everybody. Thank you, Nikki.
Thanks.
Cheers, Baz.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Cheers.
Football Weekly is produced by Rory Simon and Matt Bentley-Viney. Our executive producer is Joel Grove. We'll be back tomorrow.